Hey gang, John Bacarella here with your Lake St. Clair ice fishing report. And I said ice fishing and oh, happy Valentine's Day. So yeah, it's Valentine's Day and guess what? We have first ice out on the lake in many places. Imagine that, first ice on Valentine's Day. Go figure. So anyways, we're gonna get into the ice report really quick. First I'm gonna talk about places. So anyway, you guys all know it got crazy cold last night. We were like 3-4 degrees here this morning. I really did not think that we were going to make any lake ice with the winds that we've been having, and the forecast was not looking great, so I was not optimistic. And so I immediately shot up to the north end of the lake because I actually wanted to see if there was anything left of the raft after that pounding it took with earlier in the week. And honestly, my first stop was at Brandenburg, and at Brandenburg I couldn't believe my eyes that there was actually ice right out in front of Brandenburg and in tight to shore that was about an inch thick. Now, I understand you can't walk on an inch thick ice, or maybe I could, but I wouldn't want to. But the amazing thing is we made ice last night, gang, and there's a lot of places on the lake that made pretty good ice. Now, I'll say this, places that there were not ice. Crocker Road, the wind's keeping it open. There were pieces of ice floating all over the place. There may be ice there in the morning, but it's not going to be walkable. I'd be crazy surprised if it was walkable. Another place there was not good ice was off of the beach at Metro. There was a lot of ice floating around, and there was some ice, you know, in tight along the shoreline. But for the most part, the wind was keeping that open as well. So suffice that to say that that ice is probably not going to be walkable. Now, I'm going to probably hop around a little bit on this report, but so just kind of have to bear with me on it because I was just kind of blown away this morning with what I found. So went further north from Brandenburg and stopped at Bobby Mack's, which has kind of become a good stop for me because I can shoot good pictures and video there. And the ice at Bobby Mack's was, again, about an inch thick all the way up to the shoreline and making ice every second I was there. And it was froze as far as the eye could see in all directions. So crazy, I couldn't believe it. So we lost all that ice last week. The wind came in and busted it all up. It literally was walkable the day that the ice got busted up by the wind, and we got ice again, and we're gonna have really cold temperatures again tonight. So I drove a little further north and up to the boat launch, and so here's where I want to get into some details with you folks about the ice. Regardless of how thick that black ice gets out there, now I expect that black ice to be thick enough out in front of Bobby Mack's and all the way up into the raft by Saturday. But here's the deal. A lot of that stuff that blew in tight to shore, I'm going to call it snow cone ice, okay? That snow cone ice is scary. So you're going to want to focus on the black ice unless you're on that old stuff up in the raft, which is still there, and it's going to just be thicker and thicker with the temperatures that we have. But so right at the boat launch at Selfridge, I tried to get on, or at least check ice thickness right at the boat launch, and I couldn't even get on that stuff because it was all this snow cone stuff and it was insulating all the water underneath and it was stopping it from freezing, okay? The same kind of deal happened, and I'm going to show you just a little video here when I walked out on the left behind the what do they call them, outhouses there at the boat launch. So suffice it to say, you're going to have to be very careful with any of that snow-covered, white, fluffy-looking ice with whatever happens this weekend up on that north end. Now, the wind is supposed to shift to the south-southwest later today and tonight. Now, you know what happened last week, right? That wind blew up in there and trashed everything. I'm just praying that it doesn't do it again this week. We got a lot more ice out on the lake to work with. I'm hoping it's going to dam everything up across the bay out there and help block some of that wave action. Also, the wind's not supposed to blow as long or as hard as it did last week, but who the heck knows whether the weatherman has got that one right or not anyways. But it's definitely going to be worth a check up on that north end tomorrow morning. That black ice could be fishable. You could, now if you're going to get on the ice up there at the boat launch, you're going to want to access it from the south side of that jetty over there and get on the black ice if it's thick enough tomorrow morning, okay? Now, let's come back to the south. and let's talk about the Metro Park here. Back in the Metro Park, that basin ice, I walked out on it. Matter of fact, when I got there, there were already guys on the ice, which is the first time I've seen them this year on the ice. And the places that I measured the ice back there, I measured in a couple of spots, pretty close to where the guys were fishing at, and I had 4 inches of black ice in the spots that I measured. Now, there's still open water out around those islands. Black Creek was still open, but the bottom line is there was some really good fishable ice there. Now, on the other side, in the marsh, places that I actually expected to be good, it was a little scary in spots, okay? So there's a mixture of ice over there in the marsh. You are going to have to, if you fish over there, you're going to have to be very, very careful. Even though I know it's going to make more ice tonight over in those areas, you're going to have to be careful because you're going to have, there's a lot more snow moving around back in that area that was insulating in certain spots. There's some old ice that's probably pretty darn good, but then you're going to have spots that were open water that opened up with that last warm up that you're going to have to really watch for back there, okay? So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's, you know, that's the deal. I mean, the raft has still got ice. The old ice is still there. If you guys have been fishing that, that's going to be fine. Lots of the canals have still got ice, and it's going to be thicker than what it was last week by a long shot. You're going to have some black ice, hopefully, in multiple places that's going to be fishable too. So it's going to be kind of like first ice up there. Let's keep our fingers crossed that main lake ice holds up there out in front of Bobby Max and all the way into the raft, and you guys are good. If it does, you're going to have some good perch fishing ice up there. And then Sunday's supposed to be 40, but then honestly next week again through Thursday is going to be either ice making or ice holding temperatures. So we might end up with a couple of weeks of lake ice with any luck if we don't lose that main lake ice up there in the north end. So I really appreciate it if you guys, if you're up there on that north end or you live up there, especially later tonight after that wind shifts around, if you see any dramatic changes to the ice conditions, like you start seeing waves out there and everything's getting broken up, I would greatly appreciate it if you could put it on our YouTube channel in the comments section on there so that other folks can see it. And if we get other information, we will try to post it up on our Facebook page as well, you know, of any changing ice conditions. So with all that said, we're going to have pike Goldens at both stores for this coming weekend. We're going to be opening both stores at 6 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday this weekend for the guys that do want to get out. And, you know, everybody be careful. Use those darn speedy spuds out there or whatever spuds you got. And just pay attention to the details. Stay off of that white, goofy-looking stuff. And you have a great weekend. Hey, if you like this video content and you want to get updated as soon as the next video is out there, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon, and you'll get notified as soon as the next video is up.